What is going on, world? Welcome back to another edition of the Ravi&Ray show. We're happy to be here, man. Let's get it going. Let's
Man,
get it going.
I think that's the first podcast so far that you've said it correctly. So I'm gonna give you props for that one.
I've been practicing all day. I've been freaking practicing all day, man.
It's okay, man. It only took a couple months. No worries. We're gonna start it off with the main news. Tickets come on sale this week. UFC 285. Return of John Jones against Cyril Gane for the heavyweight champion, not the interim, the actual heavyweight champion, because Francis Ngannou has been released from the UFC. Right? I'm so excited to hear your predictions on this fight. But first of all, we have to talk about the man himself, Francis Ngannou. You went on the Ariel Helwani show. I know we both kind of saw some clips of it here and there. We saw what Dana had to say. Whose side are you leaning towards on that Ngannou cut?
You know, man, honestly, before I was like, really, is Francis Ngannou really not going to take this? Mm-hmm. And so here's what I had found, and I apologize. I'm going to keep looking down. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm looking at all this stuff right now. Francis Ngannou was estimated he estimated that the new deal would pay him around $8 million to fight John Jones, just for that personal fight, just for that one-on-one fight at UFC 285. And then he expected to complete a trilogy with I apologize if I get his name wrong. Stipe.
Oh, Stipe Miocic.
Yes, thank you very much. And then rematch Jones before moving to boxing. So he was going to probably have like a double fight with Jones because it's obviously going to sell. That makes sense to me. Where the high dollar matchups with professional boxer, Tyson Fury, or maybe possibly Anthony Joshua, possibly loom to him to go do that, the exhibition fight, which would be huge. This is what he said in the quote. In that contract, I'm not free, and I'm not an independent contractor. I have no rights. I hand over all the power to you guys, meaning the UFC, basically to Dana. I've seen in the past how you guys can utilize your power against me, and I don't want that. And he also had said, it's basically like he said, at this point, health insurance for me is not a problem, but how about the guys at the bottom? They can't even basically afford health insurance, and I have been there. So it's something I carry in my heart. At a certain point, he basically felt hard, about his like decisions in the negotiation process. He wanted to work it out. And on top of that too, he was basically saying it's all their narrative, which is their narrative, and it can't be proven. I wish it could work. I really do. I really wanted it to, but not at any cost. And he also wanted to discuss the boxing stuff too on the side, because I think it is pretty crazy. And this is just personally me. For those who don't know, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of the UFC, but I'm also a huge fan of boxing. And I'm sorry to say this, but these UFC fighters deserve to get paid, man. You're telling me right now that Canelo Alvarez can get paid $50 million? Tyson Fury for his last fight got paid $40-something million for his fight. And Francis Ngannou and John Jones are going to get paid $8 million? That is some crazy stuff to me. I don't know exactly what else they do. I don't know what else goes behind the scenes as far as the contracts go, but that's ridiculous. That's why you see these UFC fighters. Tyron Woodley got his biggest payday against Jake Paul, and that was and he fought his whole career in the UFC. And I think he probably made more in his fight with Jake Paul twice than he did in the UFC, which is extremely sad. And I don't know. I got to get your perspective on this, Ravi. I mean, I kind of side with Francis Ngannou here because I feel like that is messed up, man. Like, it's not like the UFC is a $100 million company. Like, this is a $1 billion corporation. Pay these guys. These guys, and I hate to say it, I love boxers. Yeah. I love boxing. I just don't think that they go through the things that UFC fighters have to go through. They don't go through that stuff because they don't get kicked in the face. They don't get kneed in the elbowed in the face, or they don't have to work on the ground game. They just get to stand up and just, work on their own craft standing up. And they get to the longevity, I think, for a boxer is longer than a UFC fighter, for sure. I mean, I say that, with the asterisks because there's some really good champions that are at the age of 40, literally, and Francis Ngannou is 36, and I think he's in his prime of his career. So it's like, for me, I feel for him. I'm sad that this even happened. I can't believe he's gone because he's a superstar in the league, in my opinion. He's a superstar here, and now he's gone. But man, Robbie, I got to get your perspective on this, man. I got to get your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I'm somewhere like right in the middle. I think this deal kind of worked out for both sides. I know both sides are extremely frustrated that the deal didn't get worked out. You can tell in Francis's voice, you can tell in Dana's voice that they're both frustrated that the deal didn't work out. I think Francis believes in something and he's really pursuing it, and you can't blame him for that. And on the flip side, Dana White is running, like you said, $1 billion company, and there's a reason why boxing's going away. There's a reason why boxing doesn't go over 100,000 pay-per-view buys. UFC does that every single month. Boxing cannot do that once every few months when it comes on. The last Jake Paul fight sold 79,000 pay-per-view buys. There's a reason why boxing is dying. This is for the longevity of the UFC. I don't blame them at all for moving on with Ngannou. I think they tried what they tried. It's kind of like a he said, she said type of deal. Dana made it sound like Ngannou is trying to avoid fighting John Jones. And I mean, it might be the reason. I'm not sure. Ngannou is making it seem like he was ready to fight John Jones and then ready to fight him again. So, I mean, I don't think we really know what truly happened here. I think Ngannou is probably going to move towards the PFL, and he's going to realize very quickly that he's not going to have the same sponsorship that he had with the UFC. He's not going to have the same endorsement deals that he had with the UFC. So, yeah, you're making a bigger paycheck on the fight itself, but you're making less overall when you take out all these other deals from other companies just to endorse them and promote them that you're going to be getting that you would have with the UFC, because UFC has been built as such a strong, steady company at the top of the MMA world that every fighter, what do they fight for? They fight for a day to be in the UFC, to get the UFC contract. And some of these fighters fight for, like 50,000 a fight sometimes. And the reason they do that is because they know if they keep moving up, they're going to get better deals. They're going to get better promotions. They're going to get better endorsements. And that's where it's going to come. And Ngannou is 36. He doesn't have much fights left. He fought more than fights than he has left. And I think it just goes off of, I think it benefits both sides, unfortunately. We would have loved to see Francis Ngannou and John Jones, and that's going to be the biggest what if in the MMA world. What if Francis Ngannou fought John Jones, the Dana proclaimed best to ever do it? It's just a sad thing that it ended up happening. I'm kind of on both sides. I understand why Ngannou wanted to move on, and I understand why the UFC is like, you know what? Enough is enough. You're a free agent. You're going to be stripped of the belt. Go do what you want. We're not going to match anybody's contract. Go do what you want. Go make a bigger paycheck, but now you're going to take less endorsements on top of that. But we can talk about the Ngannou situation all day long, and said, who said what? He said that. Who said that? But the main conversation now flips to John Jones versus Cyril Gane, and two very identical fighters, actually. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. John Jones has been away for what, about 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that, roughly.
Oh, yeah.
Take. And now he is returning to fight Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane just lost his interim belt to Francis Ngannou. So now I feel like it kind of discredits John Jones' move up to MMA, because now then they're going to be like, well, that guy lost to Ngannou. So is he really a heavyweight fighter? We're going to have to see, but he has a massive, Ray. He signed a massive 8-fight contract deal with the UFC. So
John Jones did.
John Jones signed an 8-fight deal. So we're going to see plenty of John Jones in the heavyweight division. It's so hard for me to pick who's going to win between the two, because ring rust is a real thing. It doesn't matter who you are. Ring rust is 100% a real thing. And coming back and fighting such a technical fighter like Gane that does some of the same thing that John Jones does. John Jones opened up the favorite at minus 115 and Cyril Gane, I'm sorry, at minus 105 and Cyril Gane's at 115. So I mean, it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
Oh yeah,
Who do you got, Ray? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
dude. I'm gonna be honest here. I think. Oh man, I'm rooting for John Jones, but this fight scares me. It scares me because Cyril Gane is he's a technician. He really is. He's a true technician, man. He's a master of his craft is just like John Jones, just like you said. I mean, those guys are pure on. Francis Ngannou he is like, I don't think he's more of a technician, even though I know he beat him. But I don't think he's more of a technician than John Jones. I think John Jones is the ultimate. If you want to talk about a style bender, that man is the GOAT style bender for sure. Straight up. And like Ngannou had just had that power, but Gane, he was just so technical, man. He could do everything from the ground to the leg kicks to the, his striking ability is fantastic. So this fight is going to be awesome. I am rooting for John Jones. I really hope he wins. I really do. I'm just scared that this is his, like you said, ring rust is a real thing. He hasn't fought anybody in about 2.5, 3 years. Yeah. And on top of that, this is his first fight going to heavyweight. So I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but I had seen when he first transitioned to heavyweight, he was extremely flabby. He wasn't ripped anymore. He wasn't jacked anymore. You can tell he's eating a lot of food. He's trying to gain a lot of weight. But I guess I can definitely see that 2.5 years from a health perspective definitely helped him in the long run because he can gain that weight, get that weight, take off that fat and start building muscle on top of that. So, which is fantastic for him. And he can get comfortable at that weight. So maybe it might have worked out in John Jones's favor anyways for him to wait this long to get comfortable with that weight. And it's not like he's not working. I know he's a maniac. He's working all the time. But definitely I'm going for John Jones, man. I think he's going to take it. I hope he takes it. I'm rooting for him. So we'll see.
Well, I'm going to be there live. So I'm going to be probably losing my voice that day. It's so hard for me to decide. We've loved John Jones since the Baltimore Ravens, since they had Arthur Jones, since the Patriots had Chandler Jones. We had the 3 Jones brother and John Jones. And we've been watching John Jones for a long time, but Cyril Gane is one of my favorite up-and-coming fighters right now. It's so hard. But I might slip and take, I think, as much as I want to go Gane, I think I'm going to go with John Jones. I think he's going to end up pulling it out. And then I'm hoping he does pull it out just for his legacy, because I think he can go down as one of the best to ever put on a pair of gloves in the MMA and maybe even the boxing world. I don't know, because he's just such a deadly animal when he has gloves, and especially 4-ounce gloves in his hand. I think he can just do it all, and I think he's just been there, done that. And I think the inexperience of Cyril Gane will kind of show that. And I think that's the main reason why. And I don't know what's next for John Jones. I think that's going to be exciting to see. And we still don't have a technical co-main event for this fight, but Aljamain Sterling said that he thinks he can get ready in time for March 4th to fight Triple C Henry Cejudo. So we'll go ahead and wait for that. I saw some things online. I don't know if this is true or not, but the T-Mobile Arena apparently leaked a picture of Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Henry Cejudo for an interim belt. Aljo said he'd be cool with the interim belt. I don't know if that was true or not. Twitter has its own mind sometimes.
Yeah.
I guess we will see. We can talk about the UFC all day. One quick prediction on this weekend. UFC 283. Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill versus Glover Teixeira. Who are you going for?
Oh, man.
For the light heavyweight champion. For John Jones, light heavyweight champion.
Dude, I don't even know. I think it's going to be, I don't even know, man. I feel like it's this fight is 100% a coin flip. I think both fighters excel obviously at their craft, and I just think that it's just, man, I don't know, man. I honestly, for the first time, I got to think about the prediction because I really don't know. But I want to get your take. Who do you think's got it?
I think it's gonna be just like you said. It's gonna be a close one because
Yeah.
it takes one touch from Jamal Hill to go sweet dreams. That's
Yep.
where the nickname came from. Um, but on the other hand, you got what, a 42, 43-year-old Glover who's looking like the best he ever had. Fight of the year last year with Jiri Prohaska, the former light heavyweight who had to relinquish his title. Um, Glover is just such a warrior. It's hard for me to go against him. I think he's going to reclaim that belt, and I think we're going to see Glover versus Jiri next fight. But I'm not taking it away from Jamal Hill because you saw in that Johnny Walker fight, he doesn't even have to have his full fist on you to knock you out.
It's crazy.
So
It's crazy.
who do you got? You got a gun to your head. You got to make a prediction right now.
Glover.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with him, man.
it's the safer pick. I feel it.
Glover.
But anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And anything can happen, especially in this wild card weekend, man. Brock Purdy won his first NFL playoff game. People calling him the mini Brady. They need to pump the brakes on that a little bit.
Yeah, they got to slow it down.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins getting eliminated. The amazing 27-point comeback by the Jaguars, and when the Chargers collapsed, unfortunately, your Ravens had in a very hard-fought game. Just
that goal line. That goal line.
Was it Gus?
98-yard touchdown. Oh my gosh.
Was it Gus that fumbled that, right?
No, sir. Tyler Huntley. They were at the 2-yard line, and Tyler Huntley dove over the top.
Sam Hubbard returned it all the way.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Let me get your predictions. I mean, let me get your reaction on that. How did you feel? Are you proud of your
Ravens game?
Are you proud of your team? How hard they battled and how hard they stayed in?
Oh yeah. To be honest with you, I even said it on the podcast. I really thought we were going to get blown out. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we have a crappy defense. I just thought that the offense couldn't do anything. So I thought we were just going to keep going 3 and out. And eventually Joe Burrow was just going to get us. You know what I mean? Like the defense can only hold on for so long before just being like, okay, that's it. You know, we can't, the offense sucks. But surprisingly, we did really good. And I'm just sad about the outcome that everything had happened. And dude, it's just really sad. And it's just really frustrating sometimes. Like, I don't understand. So John Harbaugh after the game and I'm specifically talking about that when Tyler Huntley dove over the top. And John Harbaugh said he messed up on the play. He was supposed to go low. He wasn't supposed to go high because he had Andrews and also Gus Edwards back there to help push him, hold him up, and then push him forward as much as he can to get maybe like an inch or maybe like a yard because he was still 2 yards out. J.K. Dobbins expressed a lot of I'm happy he spoke up. He said he feels like he's one of the best running backs in the league. He didn't even get one carry in the red zone.
That was insane.
So I think that's something to talk about too. I think that's pretty messed up. Yeah, dude, we had the game, man. I'm sorry. I really believe we had this game. We had this game won, and now we're going to see the Bills unfortunately take down the Bengals. And I don't want to shy away from the Bengals, man. The Bengals, they played a really good game. Joe Burrow is such a monster. He's such a beast. And I feel bad for him against this next round. It's not because, and I'm not trying to diss the Bengals in any way, shape, or form. I congratulate them. They're obviously the winner, and they deserve to move on. But I don't know if you noticed at the end of that fourth quarter or during that fourth quarter, the Ravens defense completely took over. I mean, they were able to get to Joe Burrow extremely easy. Jonah Williams, their left tackle, fortunately, I think he's out for the whole year. And that Bills defense, man, they're going to be able to get to Burrow. I love Burrow. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback. But if you don't have time in the pocket, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So I think next week it's going to be a blowout. I really do, just because they can't hold up on the offensive line. unfortunately, for another year in a row.
I see what you're saying here, and I don't know if we're just dissing each other's division rivals because I think the Bengals are actually going to blow the Bills out.
Wow.
After seeing what Skylar Thompson did to that Buffalo defense, putting up 31 points, if they had Tua in that game, I think they could have put up 50 points, honestly. I don't have any faith in the Buffalo defense. Josh Allen has 100% regressed since losing Brian Daboll as his offensive coordinator. He's turning the ball over like crazy. He's just a turnover machine. I personally don't think that I personally don't think that Josh Allen could get the job done against Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals have a higher and better offense, um, but I'm not really sure how the defense can stop Joe Burrow. If they can drop 31 points with Skylar Thompson, then imagine with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. Imagine when those guys come to town. Then what's going to happen? I think the Bills are not as good as they were last year. I think they're just a little overhyped. I think Josh Allen's just a tad bit overhyped. I'm not calling him a top 2 quarterback yet. I'm calling him more of a top 5 quarterback because I'll take Burrow over Josh Allen myself. But that's just a game that we're gonna have to just wait and see. So it looks like you're gonna take the Bills. I'm taking the Bengals. So it's gonna be a fun game to watch. We'll get on to our predictions in a little bit. But can we talk about that 27-point comeback real quick? How is that? You're on mute, by the way. Do you have faith in Justin Herbert that can actually lead a NFL team? Do you blame it on Brandon Staley? Do you blame it on the offensive coordinator who they just fired? Do you blame it on the defense? Or is Trevor Lawrence just that guy? What do you think?
Dude, honestly, man, if it's it's a big question mark now, in my opinion, for as far as the Justin Herbert hype. I'm not saying he did. I don't know, man. I mean, I think for sure. I'm sorry, I got to say this. I don't understand how the head coach for the Chargers is the head coach right now. I have no idea how he's like even the head coach. I have no idea. He should be fired for blowing that lead. Justin Herbert, on the other hand, I don't understand how you blow a 27-point lead. I mean, I can say the same thing this year. I mean, I've seen it many, many times. My team's blown a tremendous amount of leads, and I'm scratching my head. I'm still scratching my head. I don't understand how they let that happen. But, yeah, dude. I mean, it just shows a lot about Justin Herbert in a sense too. I mean, everyone wants to praise him. Everyone wants to say he's the next. You can say he's the next this. He's the next that. He's the future Hall of Famer. Whatever the hell you want to call him. Well, I mean, now he just got knocked back. I think he took a couple steps back from this. I think it's a good learning experience for him. He's still young, but dude, that's crazy that you blow a 27-point lead and your offense can't do squat, like anything at all. So I have no idea, man. What are your thoughts?
I think Justin Herbert's also just a little bit hype. I'm coming with oh man, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. The linebacker that's just talked a bunch of smack that just got roasted on TikTok. Called him a social media quarterback.
Oh man,
I'm blanking on his name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But him, I kind of agree with him. Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback, man. He makes those 1 or 2 big plays that everyone's like, wow, this is the guy. This is him. This is that. He's not a top 3. He's maybe a top 5, definitely a top 7 type quarterback. Let's stop hyping these guys up. It's Mahomes 1 in a separate tier, and everybody else is in the tier underneath him because there is nobody like Patrick Mahomes. There was one man like Patrick Mahomes, and his name was Tom Brady. Did we just see the last game of Tom Brady? A lot of people are speculating after his media interview, him thanking everyone. Do you think this is it? Is he 46 now?
Dude, he's going to be 46 years old. Honestly, dude, I know a lot of people hate Tom Brady, but you know,
Yourself included.
huh?
So yourself included.
Myself included, because he's kicked our ass many times, man. And when it really mattered, of course, there's always going to be that hatred there, but there's also got to be some respect there too, as well. Whether you hate the guy all you want, I mean, it's incredible what he has done. Literally 45 years old, and he's still thinking about coming back.
Yeah.
But my question to you, though, Ravi, and I think it's a great question to ask: if he does decide to come back, right? I think personally in his personal life was pretty messed up this year. Losing his wife, I don't know. I don't really know the situation, obviously, with his kids. I don't know how they're going to co-parent that. I'm not too sure. But I think a year, as a free man, technically, now, he can focus on football pretty much if he wanted to come back, 120,000%. I don't know where he goes. I don't think he goes back to Tampa. I think that team, unfortunately, I feel bad for him too. I mean, that offense, I think there was a great offensive lineman who retired early at the age of 26, 25, 26 years old. He retired. I forgot his name. I apologize. But then that defense collapsed. That offense collapsed. They were just their center, Ryan Jensen, I believe. Yeah, Ryan Jensen, out for the whole year too. So that whole offensive line was in shambles. The whole defense couldn't stay healthy. The whole offense couldn't stay healthy. I mean, but they still won the division. So,
Right.
but where do you, in your opinion, Robbie, where does he go? Where does your great Tom Brady go?
Man, I really want to see him hang it up now because I think he's definitely starting to show his age. I took him until 45 years old. He's proven that there's no one like Tom Brady, possibly that no one will ever be Tom Brady, maybe not even Patrick Mahomes. 7 rings with, 6 with one team, leaves COVID year, wins another one with another team in a new system, new coach, new players, new building. I just don't think he'll ever want to be like Tom Brady. If I'm predicting that who he's going to play for, if he for some reason does come back, I think it'll be the Raiders. I think it'll be the Vegas Raiders. Josh McDaniels is Brady's best friend, and Brady loves Josh McDaniels. No matter how much times you see them get in a heated argument, Brady enjoys the company of Josh McDaniels more than the company of Bill Belichick. And I think that will just be the perfect fit. He'll have a top 3 receiver. If they can get Josh Jacobs back somehow, if Darren Waller can stay healthy, he's just he's a top 5 tight end. They have a left tackle in Colton Miller. They have nobody else though. They need to go out and they need to protect this man. And they need to build on that defense. You got Max Crosby, and that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. They don't really have much on defense. I think if Brady is trying to, go to a team that can help him, I would say the Niners. But I don't know where they go because I don't think Trey Lance starts another game for San Francisco anymore. I think Brock Purdy takes that over. But now do you want to put Brock Purdy on the bench after what he just did to put old man Brady in there for a year or two? I just don't see a great fit for him anymore. I think the league's gonna force him to retire this year.
I actually was watching the morning shows and all that stuff, and I just want to get your perspective on this. Somebody actually threw out there that he could possibly, it's a possibility that he could have a reunion with your New England Patriots. How would you, and have one last ride, whether he does good, whether he does bad? How would you feel about that if New England said, you know what, let's have you back one more time? You guys in my opinion, and you know me, I'm obviously our team at the end of the day always plays a damn good game. At the end of the day, we always kick each other's butt. We're rivals in a sense as far as Baltimore and that, but you guys have a championship defense, leading with Matthew Judon. Championship caliber defense by far. The offense, unfortunately, I would say it's the same in our situation. Get a better offensive coordinator, Get some more receivers, get some more help from him, especially, maybe some, I think a better tight end. I don't think Jonnu Smith's, I would cut him. He's not doing anything. I'd cut Jonnu Smith, unfortunately. Hunter Henry, I don't think is horrible, but I think improve on that. Get him some wide receiver help. Your running backs are fantastic. Ramondre Stevenson next year, top 5 fantasy pick. He's got to be, dude. He's got, he did amazing this year.
Yeah.
And he's going to build off that, and he's just in the prime of his career. So could he possibly have a reunion with the Patriots? Ravi, what do you think?
I apologize for my cough, by the way.
It's okay.
It's all good. The last few days, but I think he could possibly come back to New England.
How would you feel about that? How would you personally feel?
Man, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited. Mac Jones has just shown that he's just another Kirk Cousins. That's all he is. I don't have too much faith in Mac from year 1 to year 2. But at the flip side, you go and give him possibly one of the better offensive coordinators on his first rookie year. And then after his rookie year, you give him a defensive head coach and as your offensive coordinator. And then as your quarterback coach, you give him a special teams coordinator in Joe Judge. You just set Mac Jones up for failure this year. I don't think we've seen the best of Mac Jones this year because I think we've seen probably the worst of Mac Jones. This is Mac Jones' floor was this year, I would say. I think he can only build on from here. If Brady comes on that team, I'd say Mac Jones is gone and Bailey Zappi is the one that's backing him up. And I think if for Brady to come back on this team, Brady's going to be like, you have to go give me someone. You're going to have to go and trade for D-Hop in Arizona. You're going to have to go and trade for Michael Thomas in the Saints. You're going to have to give me one more piece. You're going to have to sign back Devontae Parker. You're going to have to sign back Jacoby Myers. Let Nelson Aguilar walk. Let Kendrick Bourne walk. Let Jonnu Smith walk. Use that money and go and get DeAndre Hopkins. You have a decent O-line. You have a phenomenal defense. You have a great running back that's up and coming. Just help me on my receiving core. And I think Brady can come back one more. Maybe this is me dreaming, but Brady can come back one more year. But that's it, man. That's it. After this, we got to get rid of this old man, dude. He's got to go. He's just got to go, man.
If Tom Brady were to go back to your Patriots, is there any candidate out there that you would love to be on your offensive coordinator that you would like to have? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Cliff Kingsbury.
By far, you wouldn't want if the Chargers head coach got fired, you wouldn't want him as your OC?
Oh God, no! You saw what happened. Hell no. No.
You know what? I was thinking about that too, and the crazy thing is too, I was thinking about Cliff Kingsbury, but at the same time, I'm also kind of thinking like, damn, like, is there anybody in college? I can't even think of anybody maybe in the college profession that might want to step up and who's like a genius offensive mind in there. I can't think of anybody, man. A lot of these guys are defensive minded. For example, the Niners defensive coordinator looks like he might be a head coach, possibly somewhere else. Defensive minded. He's not. I wouldn't give that guy an offensive playbook sheet. Hell no. Mm-hmm. He's a great defensive coordinator. Like, it's interesting, man. It's gonna be really interesting to see where he goes. I kind of hope he ends up with New England.
Do you?
Because I kind of hope he does because I think that would be a great reunion and it would be a true last ride. And I think maybe him and Bill can just put aside their differences for just one season and just, hey, man. Let's give it hell. Let's do it. Let's go out there and give it one more shot and see how far he goes. See how far he can go.
I've been to a total of 5 Patriots games. I have never gone to one home game. If Brady goes back there one year, I am 150% going to one home game next year.
Oh, dude, you would have to go to a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
You would have to go to one of the biggest games of the year as far as whoever's New England's playing next year. You would have to go.
I don't think I'm good luck, man. I'm 0-5 when I've gone to a Patriots game.
Can we just for a sec? Can we just please see who you guys are playing? The schedule's out. I mean, we obviously don't know what times, but I know that the schedule for your home and away teams. It was same for Baltimore too. I know Baltimore goes to San Francisco next year.
Oh,
and
that's
Santa
fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited to go see that. I would love to see that game for sure.
Um,
But I know New England's came out for sure.
our home games are the Commanders, Buffalo, Miami, Jets. Oh, I think I found the game that I would go to. Kansas City,
Oh man.
Chargers, Philly, Colts, Saints. Yeah, those are it. I would probably go to the Chiefs game.
Wow. They're
Yeah.
not. Did they verse? Did they verse anybody like near us? Like, you guys don't verse San Francisco this year away?
We versus Vegas again in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be really fun.
If
But
Tom
I
Brady,
would understand if Tom did go, like you said. I wouldn't even go to the Vegas. I would go to New England to
but
see him home.
if Tom doesn't come back, I'm probably going to that Vegas game. Then
Oh yeah.
I'll wait till our team gets a little bit better before I go all the way on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
We'll see, man. We will see, just like we will see this weekend on some great divisional round matchups. We got 4 spectacular games, right? Let's break it down. Saturday first, and then we'll get to Sunday. The Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to Kansas City. Who do you got on this one? Think wisely, man. Do not doubt Trevor Lawrence and that hair.
Oh man, dude. I unfortunately I have to doubt Trevor Lawrence, man. Come on, man. I get it, dude. They won. It was a spectacular win, and much props and respect to Trevor Lawrence, because I will admit firsthand on this podcast, I talked a lot of crap in our group chat, and I said he's overrated. But dude, come on, man. He threw freaking 3 interceptions in the first quarter. He threw 4 interceptions total over. Oh, in the 4 in the first quarter?
Oh, sorry.
Four,
First half. Sorry.
in the first half, he threw 4 interceptions. I'm sorry to let you know this, but this team, the Kansas City Chiefs, are another level. They're another level of greatness. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but they are a true dynasty team, in my opinion. Patrick Mahomes is not a joke. If you gave that, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence and the Jags can't do it, but to be honest with you, man, they can't do it. there's no way they can do this, man. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to take a dramatic, big-time lead, and they're not going to look back. You could see the Jaguars maybe making a comeback, but that offense is so potent, they're going to keep tacking on touchdown after touchdown after touch. I see Kansas City dropping 40-something points on these guys just to put them away. I think the Jags can maybe do a comeback. They seem like they're a second-half team. They might be able to make 30 points at the end. Who knows? But I don't think it's going to be enough.
We need a Cinderella story, Ray. Just like last year, the Bengals were the Cinderella story. Will it be the Jaguars this year? I don't know, man. This is going to be a close game. It's hard for me to decide, but you cannot go against Patrick Mahomes. Doug Peterson is a really good coach.
He's a great coach.
I think he's shown Super Bowl winning with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's shown that he's just a tremendous coach. The Eagles should have Nick Sirianni is doing a great job, but Doug Peterson probably should have never been fired in the first place. But I really, really, really want to take the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I was so close while you were talking. I was gonna go for the Jaguars, but just something in my gut just tells me you just can't doubt this man.
Yeah.
And there's only one person that can stop this guy, and that's Joe Burrow. 3-0 against him this year. We'll get to Joey B in a second, but yeah, I got Kansas City also, man. Unfortunately,
there's one. I'm sorry. Before we go on to the next team, I feel like I gotta ask you, man, who should be coach of the year? The Jacksonville Jaguars head coach or Brian Daboll? Is it Peterson? Doug, or what's his name? Doug
Peterson?
Doug Peterson, or
no, there's a D in there.
Because
both
teams, dude. I mean, everyone I feel like is so hyped on Brian Daboll, but I feel like everyone's sleeping on the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
I agree.
He won a playoff game too, so it's not like he's out. It's not like he's not in the divisional round.
The last 2 years, back to back, if I'm not mistaken, they had the number 1 overall pick, right? Worst record?
The Jags?
Yeah, I think so. They
Yeah,
drafted
and look,
Trevor
oh
Lawrence.
yeah, and their head coach last year was horrible, and he flipped that team, and now they're in a divisional playoff game.
Yeah,
I think the
I think
Jags head coach should be coach of the year. In the beginning, I will admit, I was all, hey, New York's got to get it. New York's
Yeah.
got to get the Brian Dable has got to get it. But now I feel like now my opinion has changed. I think Jacksonville's head coach deserves to be coach of the year.
I agree, but how can you take that away from Nick Sirianni and what he's done to the Eagles too? Now, I know they're a great team
Oh yeah,
overall, but it's also this coach of the year is also judged on wins, and he has the most wins this season. With a quarterback that missed a few games towards the end. I mean, you kind of have to put him in the mix. Sean McDermott's done a great job in Buffalo.
Andy Reid.
I feel like Zach Taylor doesn't get enough love on Cincy. Andy Reid, of course. Andy Reid. You know why Andy Reid doesn't get that award? Is because everybody expects Andy Reid to do this. That's why.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you don't expect Andy Reid to do this, I would say Andy Reid should get the coach of the year because they lost a massive piece in Tyreek Hill. And who did they replace him with? Marcus Valdez-Scantling,
Juju Smith-Schuster,
Sky Moore,
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, come on. None of these guys have lived up to any hype. None of these guys can win that job. If realistically, it should be Andy Reid, who I think it will be. I think it will be Nick Sirianni, though.
Wow. And you know what's crazy too? Think about. I feel like coach of the year is so biased because it's like it seems like they only give coach of the year for the teams who are crappy.
Yeah.
And they just did really good out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, for example, how many times did Bill Belichick win coach of the year when you guys had your dynasty?
Not a bunch.
0 times. He didn't win it at all. He didn't win it once, I don't think. If I'm mistaken, how do you get a dynasty like that and go to the Super Bowls X amount of times every freaking year, damn near, and not be coach of the year? Yeah. Like, that's incredibly crazy to me. And I feel like it's a big bias there. And I feel like the NFL should discuss that, in my opinion, because I think that's messed up. But, dude, you might be right, man, with the Nick Sirianni one, because he came out of nowhere.
I had to look it up, right? Bill Belichick, last time he won Coach of the Year was in 2010. That was the last time he won Coach of the Year. That was a long time ago, man.
Did you guys win the Super Bowl that year?
Let's see, 2010. What happened? I don't think we won in 2010. No, we didn't win in 2010. I don't believe.
Was that with Tom?
That was with Tom.
So did you guys go like almost undefeated? Was that the year you guys almost went undefeated against the? No, yeah, I don't remember.
Yes, I think that's the year we ended like 14-2 or something like that.
Damn, what was your squad back then?
That was the Wes Welker, maybe Deion Branch time around there. Wow. I love Deion Branch. Remember the back shoulders?
Oh my god, it was nasty. That comeback route.
The comeback
route. Oh my gosh. I hated that route.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree, man. I think it should be Andy Reid. I think he deserves that award. Who did you say? Who do you got?
I honestly, I mean, if we're gonna, obviously for me, I mean, Andy Reid should deserve to be there. I think he. Yeah, I mean, Nick Sirianni, I actually didn't really think about him until you actually mentioned his name. He deserves to be in the conversation. Mm-hmm. I'm still sticking with the Jags because I feel like that's just how the NFL is. Unfortunately, they're just going to pick the most surprised team, and that's going to be the coach of the year. I'm going with the Jags head coach. I think from them going to basically the number 1 pick last year to a divisional round team just shows how talented this team could be in the future. And I think the Jags had a great, promising future, man. I really do.
Let me ask you this, because I wanted to move on from this topic after this, but we have to talk about this real quick, okay? You're going to take the Jags head coach, or are you going to take Kyle Shanahan, who's on his 3rd quarterback? And you see how that how that team's getting off. He's on his 3rd quarterback. He went and traded for CMC. He was with Elijah Mitchell before. All those injuries that the Niners had, and losing Trey Lance, then losing Jimmy G. Now you got Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the 7th round of the NFL draft last year, a rookie, Brock Purdy, who is undefeated now, and now has moved their team to the divisional round. Are you going to give it to Doug Peterson, or are you going to give it to Kyle Shanahan?
I would give it to Doug.
Still?
I would still give it to Doug, and here's my reason as to why, and I hope Niner fans don't get mad or anything like that, but let's take Brock Purdy out for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put Tom Brady in there. They win in a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put Daniel Jones in there. They winning a Super Bowl?
The way he played last week, yeah.
All right, let's get chippy here. Derek Carr. Derek Carr's in that. Think they can win a Super Bowl?
I think the Raiders fan don't give him enough love that he deserves. I think he could in that team.
So where I'm getting at with this, the Niners, and I feel like every Niner fan should be happy about this. Their roster is beautifully stacked. I mean, you're talking about easily top 5, maybe top 3 tight end in the game, George Kittle. Mm-hmm. Deebo Samuel, he's got to be at least in the top 10 conversation, wide receivers. I mean, the stuff they put on his back, the way he's able to catch, his after the catch, same with George Kittle. These guys are so hard to take down. And then on top of that, I know they got, obviously Christian McCaffrey is just amazing. They got a fantastic offensive line. Their run block scheme is amazing. I haven't seen a run block scheme like that since I would say the Ravens for sure. The Ravens have a great run game. I think one of the best in the game. I think you can easily put the Niners over them, or if not with them, or just barely below them, if however you want to judge that. But and then their defense. Let's flip the other side. That front, dude, they never blitz, man. They only just rush 4. And I'm like, damn, I wish the Ravens had something like that, because we always have to blitz to get to the quarterback. These guys can just rush 4 pass rushers, and they're fine. They can drop everybody, but that's why their defense is so great. I mean, it's incredible that you can rush 4 against 5 and win almost every single time. Haven't you noticed, like, when it matters the most, and it's like the biggest, and it's like the fourth quarter, and the Niners need to stop, there goes Nick Bosa just right off the edge, dominates, strip, and then it's a fumble, and it's all damn. Then look what happened with the Geno Stone thing. Like, when it mattered the most, they just rush 4 and they get to him every time. And when they blitz, they're unstoppable, pretty much. And so, dude, it's hard for me. Like, if I were to say, if Tom Brady went to the Jags, can the Jags go to the Super Bowl? I would say no. If you put Derek Carr on the Jags, I would say no. If you put Kirk Cousins on the Jags, I would say no. But I think if they go to San Francisco, yeah, 100%. Dude, that team is stacked, and I can't freaking wait to see this game. I'm so excited, man.
We're going to get to that game. You got to wait. That's the last one.
Dude. I'm so excited, man.
We have to wait for that game. Next game up, the Giants traveling to Philly. Man, I feel like every single week after week after week, we discredit Daniel Jones. We discredit that entire Giants team, but they do nothing except win, man. Who are you taking in this one? This one, I'm going to let you go on this one first. I'll go on the next one first, but I want to hear you on the first one on this one.
You know, my question, and I don't know this, so I want to kind of, I'm not going to try to defer back to you, but I just have a quick question I want to ask you. Jalen Hurts, is he hurt?
I don't know if he's 100%, but he's playing.
So he didn't play the last game of the season, right?
Correct.
Did he play the game before that?
No.
So he's been out for like 4 weeks, almost a month.
Quite a few weeks, because I believe Minshew started 2 to maybe 3 games.
So how is he still hurt? Like, what happened? Did you ever hear about the injury that happened?
He might be healthy now, because I believe what the thing was that they wanted to not play him to keep him healthy for the playoffs.
Gotcha. So he must have had a severe injury before. But if he's healthy, if we got a healthy Jalen Hurts, I'm going Jalen Hurts in this offense. I mean, the Eagles are a complete football team. I mean, they kind of just, obviously they're not as defensively better than the Niners, but I still think that defense is able to contain somewhat of Daniel Jones, even though Daniel Jones is performing excellently well. I think they have a good run stopping game. Way better. I mean, you're talking about a different defense here than the crappy Vikings defense. The Vikings defense was trash. I mean, complete trash. They're oh my gosh, they were just getting obliterated in the run game. I mean, I've seen Saquon just dominated them, and I don't think the Eagles are going to let that happen. Especially they are a divisional foe, so they know each other really well. But the last 2 times they played, if I'm not mistaken, I think Philly won both times. If I'm not mistaken.
You're probably right.
So since they beat them twice, and it didn't, when I watched the game, I think they dominated them pretty fairly because their offense is so potent and their defense is still good. So it's like, man, if the only way the Giants are going to win is honestly, if they play, I just call it Raven football. They got to keep Jalen Hurts on an offense on the sideline, just like the Ravens did against Joe Burrow, and run the hell out of that ball. Run it, throw it when you need to throw it, play solid defense, the best defense. They have to have the best defensive performance of their life right now, for sure, that team. But I'm going to go with Philly. I want to give it to New York, but man, I just think Philly, dude. I just think they're from top to bottom. They're healthy. They're coming into this game extremely healthy, man. And dude, they got one of the best offensive lines in football, and I think they're going to be fine. I really do. I think they're moving on.
Well, we are going to have to disagree on this one because I'm going with the football Giants. So Jalen Hurts has been out 2 games. He has a sprained shoulder. I think it's on his throwing shoulder. He said his shoulder feels good. Missed 2 weeks, right? Now he missed a 3rd week because they had a bye week.
Yeah.
Going into his 4th week. He hasn't played football in almost a month now. He's not going to be the same Jalen Hurts. He's not going to be week 1, week 2, week 3 Jalen Hurts. Might be cold up there in Philly. And what did the Giants end up doing? They just somehow pull it out. I'm going to stop doubting the Giants until they prove me wrong. Divisional game, anything can happen. I am only taking the Giants right now because Jalen Hurts has been not playing football for almost a month. That is probably the sole reason right there. If Jalen Hurts was fully 110% healthy, that shoulder injury never happened, I would be taking Philly and I'd be running to Vegas to place my bet on Philly right now. But because that is not happening, I believe the Giants are going to pull it out in a last-minute field goal to win this game.
Wow.
That's going to be, you know what? The Giants, Cinderella story. There you go. That's the one we've been waiting for. It's going to be the Giants. They're going to move on to the NFC Conference Championship to face the Cowboys and the Niners. We're going to wait on that one. But first, we're going to talk about the Bengals and the Bills. We talked about it a little bit earlier on the show. You're siding with the Bills. I'm siding with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to get it done. I think that losing Brian Daboll was the biggest blow to Josh Allen that could have happened. He is leading the league in turnovers. He has an insane amount of turnovers this year. Yeah, he's getting into the end zone, but he's also keeping the other team in it. I think that since he's going to go in there, they're going to make less mistakes and they're going to get the job done. I'm going to take the Bengals. I'm going to take Joey B on this one. Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty. I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. Are you still sticking with the Bills? It's not too late to hop on the Bengals train.
To be honest with you, I would have gone for the Bengals if I didn't see Jonah Williams get injured. If I didn't see this offensive line collapse. Because I'm telling you, man, that if you just watch, forget about the first, second, third quarter, the fourth quarter, if you just see the Ravens just get that pass rush in there, just rush 4, their ability to just rush 4, that the Bengals had to change their whole offensive approach. They came out when Jonah Williams got injured, they came out and they basically said, we got to run the ball and go play action. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, they got to protect Joe Burrow, man. They have to protect him. If he's not going to get protected, they are going to lose this football game, no matter how great this man is. I mean, that's why they lost the Super Bowl. they couldn't protect him. And I just don't see it, man. I just don't see him standing upright in the middle of that pocket. I'm not saying he's not going to make some good throws. I think he's going to make some great throws to Jamar Chase, and I think they're going to make some great plays. I really do. But I don't think that they're going to be able to hang, especially if Joe Burrow is going to have to be consistently dropping back. They have to establish the run. This game, they have to establish the run if they have any shot at winning. Buffalo just got to keep doing what Buffalo's doing. Play solid defense, make explosive plays, limit the turnovers, and they'll be fine. And I think they'll win the game. That's how I think Buffalo's going to win. Limited turnovers from Josh Allen mainly, and just play good ball, and I think they'll be fine.
Josh Allen is a turnover machine, right? He is
He
averaging.
is.
He has in the regular season, he has 14 interceptions and he has 7 fumbles. He has 21 turnovers in the regular season. He cannot losing Brian Daboll just showed that he really needed that offensive coordinator help, his quarterback whisperer. We've seen a regression in Josh Allen. We've seen a regression in that defense. We've just seen that whole regression as a team week after week. They started the season red hot, but they've coming into a little slow patch recently. Whereas on the flip side, I think the Bengals defense is stepping up. I think the Bengals defense is going to really trouble Josh Allen and really make him uncomfortable. And I think they're going to come after him. I'm still going to back up the Bengals on this one. And I am not going to say that it's going to be a blowout because I think this is also be a very, very, very close game. Neither one of these two teams are going away. And I think we're going to see Kansas City versus Cincy in the AFC Conference Chip once again.
Do you see Josh Allen? Because you know how we always do, like, hey, who's our top 5 quarterbacks in the league? You said an interesting word there. He regressed. Does that mean? Do you think that he regressed in the top 5? I'm not saying he's not top 5, but do you think that because it was always Patrick Mahomes and then Josh Allen was like right there, but now you're saying he regressed. Patrick Mahomes just is proving year after year he's in this generation right now. Obviously, in our generation it was Tom Brady the GOAT, but in this generation, all the kids are going to remember Patrick Mahomes. So it's like, where does Josh Allen fall now? Does he fall off the top 2? I mean, top 2, top 3? Is he now maybe a top 3 quarterback? Not a top 2 anymore?
I think it's time to put some respect on Joe Burrow's name because I think he's QB2 in my eyes. I don't think Josh Allen's QB3. I think he is on the same tier, but a little bit better than Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lamar's right by Josh Allen, but Lamar, just not being able to stay on the field hurts him. I think Jalen Hurts is right by Josh Allen. I'm taking Josh Allen still over those guys, but I'm just saying that we've seen Josh Allen where the Bills are ready to move on from him. He was doing so bad early in his career. Then you give him Stephon Diggs, you give him Brian Daboll, and you see what a progression that he keeps making year over year over year. Right?
Yeah.
Last year was his best, not 2022, 2021 season was his best year by far. And now you take away Brian Daboll, which is such a key factor. Now you put a little bit more tape on Josh Allen. You see what makes him uncomfortable. He's taking some massive hits. And Josh Allen taking those hits, it's going to hurt the longevity of his play because he doesn't. What does Lamar do? Lamar knows instead of taking a hit, what is he going to do? He's going to run out of bounds, right? Josh Allen is going to lower his damn shoulder pads and he's going to come straight for you and try to truck you. I think Josh Allen, if he wants to play long-term in this league, he needs to learn to go down. I got Mahomes 1 and I got Joey B 2 and Josh Allen 3.
I would agree with the Joe Burrow at number 2. I just think that what frustrates me with Joe Burrow, it's not with Joe Burrow. Let me just take him off that just real quick. What frustrates me is this damn franchise. This franchise, for some reason, just doesn't understand. We got an elite quarterback here. Let's protect this man. How about giving up some first rounders for some extremely good offensive lineman help here? Because look at their offensive line. I'm telling you, Robbie, it's just not. I just don't see how they're going to be able to. I mean, I just don't see how they're going to be able to hold up, man. And it's sad because if this guy had an offensive lineman like the Eagles, or I would even say Josh Allen's offensive line, dude, I think they're probably going to go all the way. Literally, they probably would win it all. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And it's like this franchise just, for whatever reason, man, they just blow it, dude. They blow it. They can't get this man some. It's sad. He doesn't need wide receiver help. He needs offensive lineman help.
Yeah.
This year, I would do their first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way to the freaking seventh, all offensive linemen, just for this man to give him some freaking help, man.
A couple of them's got a hit, huh?
A couple of them's got to hit.
Yeah.
And go in free agency and get some more players. Trade for somebody. Give up a couple first rounders. Give this man some elite offensive lineman protection, and I promise you, he's going to deliver. He will deliver.
I think the best thing for the Bengals to do, we're going to cover this offseason like crazy. We'll get to that later on in the season. I think the best thing for the Bengals to do is maybe move on from Tyler Boyd and maybe try to trade Tyler Boyd for a draft pick where you can go up and get an offensive lineman, because I think Tyler Boyd is one hell of a receiver who will make a great number 2 receiver somewhere. And I can totally see a team willing to go out and give you a second or third round pick for Tyler Boyd. Mohamed Sanu got a second round pick that the Patriots gave him very, very sadly. But I think, just like you said, they need to go out and get this man some help. They tried last year, but they failed. They need to try again. They need to try again, and they need to get this man some protection, because if they don't, just like we're talking about with Josh Allen, maybe he's not going to have that longevity of a career that we'd like to have him have. What did Brady and Manning do so well? When they see a sack coming, you remember in the early days, they went down. I'm not going to. I'm not going to take this hit, and I'm going to extend my career by maybe another half a game, maybe another third of a game.
Yeah,
and I'm going to keep doing that, and it's going to help me stay in this league. That's why Brady is still playing at 45. I don't see any of these quarterbacks playing till 45, because Brady was just so smart. He's like, I'm not going to take these hits. I'll go down. I still got a next play. It's okay. Third down, I'll punt it. I'll get the ball back, and I got another drive. It's okay. Some of these guys needs to learn that it's just time to go down. But Joe Burrow just doesn't have that time. 2-3 seconds, you got a defender in his face already if that ball's not out.
And it's incredible, like you said, it's so funny how these guys, like you're saying, the longevity of their career. It doesn't seem like both Joe Burrow and Josh Allen aren't going to be there long, because like you said, Josh Allen he's like Cam Newton. He's just going to run right into you and just try to overpower you with his size. Joe Burrow doesn't even do that, but his offensive line is so trash that he gets sacked all the time. He gets hit almost every single play. And it's even worse, because he's standing there. It's worse to take a hit when you're just standing there.
Yeah.
From a physics standpoint, you're having these huge men just come at you, just run at you and just knock you over all the time. And he's getting hit, dude. And I don't think he's liking it. I don't think he's comfortable. I just don't see it. At the end of that Ravens game, I know he didn't like taking those hits. He just kept getting hit after hit. And you could just see it on his face. He's just like, he's strong. He's a strong-willed man. That's why I think he deserves, I think you might be right. I think he deserves to be number 2, because I think, I'm not taking away anything from Josh Allen. He's a great quarterback, but I just think if you gave Joe Burrow a great offensive line, an elite offensive line, oh man, they're going all the way. They're going to go all the way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
saying I'm a freaking Ravens fan, and I hate the Bengals.
And I'm not taking anything away from Josh Allen either. I think, like I said, top 3 quarterback in the league. Hands down, I'll take it, but you're going to have to give credit where credit's due. Just like you said, a Baltimore Ravens fan like you are, division rival, you're going to have to give him the respect. I think he's number 2. I'm so glad that you agree with me. I think Josh Allen just gets really hyped up by the media. Buffalo, everybody loves the fans. Everybody loves the city. Great team overall. But I'm happy for them. But I think Joe Burrow is still number 2 in my eyes. And until Josh Allen can prove that he can take that next step and maybe minimize some of his turnovers, I still have Joe Burrow as my number 2. But I'm glad we all agree. Patrick Mahomes is here. All these other quarterbacks on a different tier down here. Even from number 2, you're like down here. Patrick Mahomes is definitely number 1 in everybody's eyes. We'll get to that later. But the last game, Ray, that you've been itching to call right here, I'm going to go first and I'll let you finish it off, and then we'll call it a day after this. the Dallas Cowboys are fighting to go to the NFC Conference Championship against the Niners. Neither one of these teams has won a Super Bowl since the 90s. I believe the Niners won before you and I were born, and the Cowboys won when me and you were about a month or 2 years old. Um, so it's been a long time. Both of these teams look stride to make the Super Bowl. I think the winner of this game will advance to the Super Bowl in the NFC. And I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys on this one, honestly. I am not
Wow.
taking the San Francisco 49ers. I think Purdy showed last week that he's still a rookie. His stats looked amazing because he had a 74-yarder play to Debo that Debo ran all the way by himself. But those yaks is what's showing Purdy's numbers. I think the Dallas defense, Micah Parsons, is going to give Brock Purdy some major trouble, blitzing for him from all angles, trying to confuse him. I think this Dallas defense will get it done against the Niners. I just the only thing that scares me is just Dak Prescott. Can Dak Prescott not turn the ball over? He missed 5 games and he's tied the league for most interceptions this season with Davis Mills. It's insane. And he's missed 5 games. So I think it all just relies on Dak Prescott. I think they need to they won't get much big plays. Take your chunks here and there with Zeke. Run it on the outside with Pollard. Have Dak throw a little bit to CD. They've shown that they can be a little bit, beatable on the secondary. Trevarius Ward had a horrible game last week. I think CD can get the better of him this week, but they really need to go out and protect Dak Prescott. It's going to be fun to see Jason Peters versus Nick Bosa. So it's going to be a fun thing to see. I am going to take the Dallas Cowboys. And just like I said, last year, February, when in 4th and 1, the Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. And I'm still sticking by that.
You know what? I was going to actually ask. I personally don't really know too much as far as the Dallas Cowboys like offensive line. So their left tackle, it was Tyron Smith, right?
Yeah.
He's not playing. He's done for the year. I thought he got injured really early in the year.
I think he did too, and I think that's why they went out and got.
Yeah, but I thought he was going to come back for the playoffs. But unfortunately, maybe his injury is not up to par. I understand that, and it sucks because I would love to see that happen. But it seems like Nick Bosa.
Right tackle.
Oh,
tackle.
Tyron Smith.
Yeah, Tyron Smith's the right tackle.
Oh, so they flipped him.
Yeah, Jason Peters plays left.
Wow. Okay, so that's going to be interesting because Nick Bosa is either going to be on the left. He's going to be on the right. He's probably going to go against Tyron. Well, I don't think he should go against Tyron Smith because Jason Peters is old, right?
So is Tyron Smith, but Jason Peters still one hell of a left tackle, man.
He is still one hell of a left tackle, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And they got Jack Martin on that offensive line too. I think they got some great players on that O-line. I think the Niners will actually be forced to blitz to get to the quarterback in this game.
Dude, I got to be honest with you, man. This is a tough one because for me, for me personally, I have family members, right, on my dad's side who are Niner fans, and we have at least one Dallas fan that I know on my dad's side for sure. But I mean, you're talking about the biggest fan base in the world versus basically California's biggest fan base. I would say more. You could make a toss up for for the Raiders, but the Niners fan base is huge, man. It's absolutely huge, and I just think someone's gonna go home, but who? And I think, man.
Here we go.
It's tough, dude. Okay, so I just want to get my breakdown just a little bit. Brock Purdy, I understand what you're saying about him. He definitely did look like a third stringer, but he played so well. And it's like, if this man continues playing like this, it's awesome. But you're right, though, Robbie, about the yards after the catch. If the Dallas Cowboys can just tackle Deebo Samuel, just tackle him without letting him go, then maybe it's like a 2nd and 6. Maybe he throws the pass and maybe it's like a 3rd and 3. Okay, then you know what I mean? Like if they can continuously tackle well and have him work his way down the field, maybe there might be a mistake there. Maybe he might get sacked there. Maybe something might happen there. Instead of just these big yards after the catch plays, Dallas, on the other hand, it's going to be that offensive line against their defensive line. Now, do I think that San Francisco's secondary is the best in the NFL? Absolutely not. I do not believe that for a second. It is their front four, is those 4 guys, those 4 badass men in the front who are going to try to take care of business. And if they can't get to Dak, Dak is going to pick them apart. Dak played basically a perfect game against Tom Brady's team in Tampa. And dude, I just think it's incredible, man. Oh man, dude. It's hard for me, but I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this football game. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to win, man. I really do. But there's a part of me that says, you know what? I don't know, man. I'm very undecided on this. I for the first probably time in a long time where I can definitely say, like, I really don't know who's going to win, who's going to come out on top. Because I can see San Francisco winning too. Because you're right. I can see Dak Prescott making a lot of mistakes. Turnovers, I don't really see too many teams making turnovers. The only person I can see making turnovers is maybe Brock Purdy with his throwing. But then Dak Prescott doesn't play well too.
Yeah.
Sometimes he makes poor decisions. But the way he played yesterday gives me a little bit more confidence over Brock Purdy. The way he played yesterday. Dak Prescott played a perfect game. And if he can have that momentum heading into San Francisco, oh man, it's going to be, oh dude, this game deserves to be the late night game. It deserves to be the last game of this divisional weekend. I'm going boys, dude. I think Cowboys are going to take it.
That's crazy. We're both going boys. Were you going the Niners before? I felt like I convinced you a little bit at the end. Did I?
I was, honestly, like I said, I was going to take the Niners because, dude, I just like their defense is so good. That front four is so nasty. And the ability for them to get yards after the catch. But what is the Dallas Cowboys' strength of this team? Aside from Micah Parsons, I mean, I don't think it's their pass rush that's the strength. I think their strength is their secondary. If I'm not mistaken, I believe their strength is their secondary. They got Micah Parsons, who makes it even 10 times better. But the strength is their secondary. And if they're able to tackle, it's all about tackling for these guys, man. If they're able to tackle Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and not let them go yards after the catch, then it's on. But once again, you're talking about one of the best run game coordinators and run game expertise teams in the NFL with the 49ers. Same with Dallas. The Cowboys can run the damn ball too with Tony Pollard and Zeke. Dude, I don't know, man. I mean, this game is, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they put up 30 on each other. I wouldn't be shocked about it because I think this game is definitely going to go down to the wire. I hope and pray it goes into overtime because I would love to see it. And I would love to see all those Cowboy fans and all those Niner fans biting their nails, man, at the end. Oh, dude. By the end of this game, they probably won't have any fingernails left. I guarantee you. Be all bitten off.
Are you with me on this too, Ray? Do you think the winner of this game goes to the Super Bowl from the NFC?
I think the Eagles are going to take it.
Oh, okay.
I think Philly, because there's one thing that you had said earlier about Jalen Hurts. Man, that shoulder. But there's one thing that separates him, those legs. You don't need his arm sometimes. Sometimes you don't need your arm. Sometimes, I've seen it firsthand. Sometimes, man, you just run it with your legs and you can make it work. And then things will open up and maybe things will open up for his arm and he can eat complete easier passes. So I would not be shocked if they run him early. Just to have him get back in the game, get back in a rhythm. Now, if they go out there and start firing the ball, man, they're going to have a long day against the Giants. But if he can establish and use his legs and run and make big plays with his legs, I think that will make the defense honest. And I think you can start seeing the old Jalen Hurts that we know.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. I think they're going to go.
I think the winner of the Niners and the Cowboys will go to the Super Bowl. It's going to be fun to see, man. We got another great week ahead of us. We had an extremely long podcast. I know I got some text saying that it was a little hard to see this podcast today. but it'll be definitely uploaded on YouTube. It'll be on the Ravi&Ray Show Facebook page. Raymond, something I haven't told you about, Ray, that I'm actually working right now to try to go YouTube live. So anybody that's on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that notification bell. As soon as we go live, you guys can go live with us, comment. We'll post your comments on our page and we'll talk about it. We'll break it down, everything like that. But yeah, like I said, please like, comment, subscribe. We want to cover this offseason really, really big. We're working behind the scenes on some TikTok content as well. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, we will see you in the conference championships. Peace.
Peace.